Hey, I'm Captain Tommy Pellegren. Welcome to Keep On Casting. Today we're going to explore the Barrier Islands and see how the restoration is going on Whiskey Island and some of the other islands, see why they're important to the fisheries around here, and hopefully we'll catch a few fish on them. Everybody from around Terrebonne Parish is pretty familiar with this camp right here that's on Last Island. It actually used to belong to Manny Sanak and called it the White House, part of the family I married into. And give you an idea, this camp that's in the surf now, by Trinity used to pass on this side of the camp, and we used to have to go a quarter mile to a third of a mile to get to the beach, to fish on the beach from this camp. There used to be a dozen or so camps along the bayou, and eventually the storms and everything has washed all of them away. But this one right here gives you credit to Manny and his gang that built it, because it survived all of the hurricanes, even being on the beach. So, but that tells you how much land we're losing and how important these islands would be if we would lose them. That's the kind of land loss we would have up in town.
That's kind of the natural progression of barrier islands. So when the wave action comes in and the storms come in, they will push these islands north, push the sand back over on top of the island. That's why it's so critical that you have good dunes, you have good vegetation on these islands to trap that sediment once it rolls back on top of the island. When Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority in Louisiana comes in and restores a barrier island, they'll build these beaches out another 500 or 600 feet back out into the Gulf so that that process can start over again.
When we restore island, we put sediment on the front and back, and we plant it and put sand fences. All that helps capture the sand as they move and roll over time, helps protect that investment. In a little bit, we're going to go to Whiskey Island and see a recently constructed project. Just a few weeks ago, we stopped pumping sediment there.
So the reason why rebuilding these barrier islands is so critical is because, number one, they serve as your first line of defense against incoming hurricanes, tropical systems. They can knock down storm surge, they can knock down wave action before it gets to the more sensitive marsh to our north. Over the last 20 years, more or less every barrier island in the state of Louisiana, from the mouth of the Mississippi all the way to Raccoon Island, which is the furthest west one in Terrebonne Parish, have been restored in some way. And since the oil spill, since more money has come along to build these projects, we've gone from building $20 or $30 million projects up to $100 to $250 million projects, and being able to make these islands much more sustainable in the long term.
We're here in Terrebonne Parish on the Gulf Mexico side of Whiskey Island. It's one of the barrier islands in the Ile-de-Nere chain of barrier islands. And the state of Louisiana, the Coastal Protection Restoration Authority, recently finished rebuilding this island with about 10.5 million cubic yards of sand from an offshore source about 12 miles from here. The project lasted about a year, and the total cost of the project was about $117 million. Now, the sand that we got came from Ship Shoal, and Ship Shoal was actually an ancient delta of the Mississippi River. About 8,000 years ago, Ship Shoal used to be one of the ancient deltas of the river, and what happens is when a delta erodes and changes course, now the delta's over in Venice. There actually used to be barrier islands 12 miles from here. Eventually, barrier islands erode and become a shoal. A shoal is an underwater sand body. So actually this sand we got to restore this island 8,000 years ago was a barrier island, and that makes it a good match for restoring barrier islands.
Obviously the fishing on our barrier islands is great, in some places pretty much year round, but it's a place where fish can come out, they can get in the passes between the islands and spawn. You get a lot of fisheries production up on the beach. You know, as the islands weather and age and the tide sits its way down the front of the island, you get dips and humps and troughs, and those are all great habitat for coastal fish like speckled trout, redfish, and flounder. The backside marshes on these islands are great habitat for birds. They're also critical for shrimp and bait fish and crabs. And so that's why it's so important to make the investment. When you're talking about a holistic approach to coastal restoration in Louisiana, barrier islands are where you start so that you can have that first line of defense in slowing down those storm surges and that wave action.
We're now on the backside of Whiskey Island, and behind me is the marsh component we built. And I know right now it doesn't look like much of a marsh because it's mainly sand, and eventually some tidal creeks will form and the plants will take root. It'll become a functioning marsh, which is a little different than the front side of the island is beach and dune. It's built up a little higher. But as we discussed, the back marsh is just as critical of a part of a barrier island, because as they roll over time, that marsh helps capture the sand and keep it here. Behind me is the back barrier marsh we built 12 years ago. You can see some tidal creeks have formed and it's fully vegetated. So hopefully in just a couple years, the sand we placed on the back side of the island to the west of us will look just like this functioning tidal marsh.
Barrier island restoration is a critical part of Louisiana's efforts to restore and protect our coast, restore and protect our fisheries habitat, our wildlife habitat, and our coastal communities. A lot of folks want to know, why don't we come out here and just build back the barrier islands? Well, the fact is they are getting built. There are several other projects planned for the next decade in this basin and also in the Barataria Basin and even east of the river. So there's been a very concerted effort on the part of the state of Louisiana to rebuild these critical barriers back. It's part of a multiple lines of defense system in terms of rebuilding this coast. You start with the barrier islands, then you replenish sediment through diversions, you rebuild marsh, you rebuild critical ridges, you protect homes and businesses. It's all part of the process of making sure this coast can stay here for several generations to come.
Let's go get one. Let's go get one. Brad's got one, he's beating me. Hot dog it. I didn't even look. No, he's still gonna pop the grease. Brad, you got another gaff top?
It appears so, Captain.
Well, you know what? While we messing with this, we're gonna take a commercial break.
You know Grafton Dermatology as one of Louisiana's premier skincare and skin cancer treatment centers. Grafton Dermatology will bring your beautiful body to its healthy fullest. Grafton Dermatology provides advanced treatment for all skin conditions, repairing, healing, enhancing. Grafton Dermatology, defining healthier skin and beautiful bodies for over 15 years.
In Louisiana, we have some of the best fishing in the world. And in Toledo Bend, we have the best fishing in Louisiana. This 185,000-acre lake was voted the #1 bass lake in the nation for 2 years running. And with dozens of waterfront resorts and marinas, you can stretch out your stay as long as you like, or at least as long as your casting arm holds out. It's true, you can fish pretty much anywhere, but you'll catch fish in Louisiana. Plan your trip to Toledo Bend Lake Country today at louisianatravel.com.
Oh, that's the better one. I hope it's got spots and not a tri-sword. Come here, buddy. That's what it's all about, right there. Got him. Got him. Dang, that was what, 15 seconds? Oh, I'm not racing. I'm not racing that. 15 seconds and we each got a fish. That's not bad.
Nice.
Not bad. Oh yeah, but see, we gonna size check both of these. I think I got you by ½ an inch. I got you by an inch.
Man, I gotta tell you, there's just something special about remembering what it was like to come out and fish these wellheads when I was a kid, throwing double rigs and catching 2 at a time. What a special place. I know it's washing away and we're doing everything we can to save these barrier islands. It's just such a special place to come out here and fish these places like I did when I was a kid. Well, boys, I think this might be a trout. No, he ain't breaking the surface yet, but
The biggest ones we had yesterday wasn't breaking the surface.
from the old coquetry standby, avocado with the red flake, and there we go.
It is
Oh,
a member
whitey.
of the trout family. On a tough day, you take anything.
Yeah. Well, and you know, generally the white trout and the gaff tops are not going to be in places
Where there's no bait.
where there's not bait.
That's
you know,
right.
it's-
So I think we're getting shut down a little bit by some wind right now.
We're here in the middle of May, and this is usually prime time when these fish start making their way down, you know, through Lake Pelto and through Lake Barre
Yeah.
and out towards the islands, which is where we are. We're right here behind Timbalier Island. Real special place. There's a lot of speckled trout
There we
get
go.
caught here during the summertime.
Yep. That's one.
Here we go. Speckled trout, fellas. He may even be a boat rider, Cap.
Oh, you gonna invite him to dinner? Yes,
Oh yeah,
sir.
pretty little trout. Tell you what, guys, there is no way to fully know how many speckled trout have been caught out of Cocodrie, Louisiana on double rig avocado with the red flake.
Look here.
Come on, Brad, grab hold of that thing. It's just an old creature. That shows you right here. 3 trout in a row, one on double rig, one on sliding cork, one on a bottom rig. So we've got them from top to bottom right here. So hopefully we can keep them going. Fish on. There we go. That's what we're looking for. You get them cranked up. Get him before he bleeds all over everything. Right there, I ought to have my Just Grab It glove on. But there we are. Nice 14, 15-inch speckled trout. Keep on casting.
Hey, Tommy, I got a fish.
Hey, you know what? I missed my fish. Yours is actually gonna take a ride to dinner. Mine's still out there swimming looking for dinner. That's what it is. Uh-oh, guess what? I got mine now. Here we are. Here we are. Slow down. There we go. And if you look at what the hook I'm using, it's a little number 4 mustad treble hook. Live shrimp, best thing there is. You don't have to worry about a net every time. This little treble hooks will get way down inside and hook them, and you can just swing them in. Yeah, I still got my shrimp. There he is. Not the biggest ones, but man, look. They'll smoke the pit, pop the grease, dirty up some almonds, whatever you want.
Capt Tommy, I'm not complaining. We had a mess of fish here, but what about 10 feet of water? I got a cork here. What's that all about?
Well, you think you have a carp, which technically you do have a carp, but in 10 feet of water, you're actually fishing deep. And this is sliding cork rig. And if you look real careful, yours slides and mine slides, you see? Like this. So the carp's only basically a strike indicator, but it keeps the bait in the suspended area what the depth of the fish are. Right now, Brad's fishing about 3 feet, 4 feet down in 10 foot of water. And he's catching almost every cast. So it gives you an idea that they're suspended. So when I pull up to a new spot, you put somebody on the bottom, somebody in the middle, somebody on top, and you find out where they want to be, and you set everybody like that, and you get it going. So there it is, sliding carp. Best way to do over junk. And we're fishing over a shell pile right now. And it's easy enough to adjust your depth with just a little uni knot right there. See, it slides right on the line. And there we go. Let's go catch another one. There we go. That's what we're talking about.
Skin cancer is the most common cancer in the United States. In fact, more skin cancers are diagnosed each year than all other cancers combined. Most skin cancers are caused by too much exposure to the sun. The good news is that you can do a lot to protect yourself. Catch skin cancer early so that it can be treated effectively. Finding it early is the best way to make sure it can be treated with success. Call Grafton Dermatology for a consultation.
La Tour Golf Club, the region's leading residential golfing community, is nestled amid beautiful landscaped greens and peaceful lakes. The 18-hole 72-par course was designed by PGA Tour champion David Toms. Golfers can enjoy the fully stocked golf pro shop, driving range, and putting greens. The family can also enjoy La Tour Bar and Grill, which offers delicious cuisine. The Bayou region's premier golfing community. Live the life with La Tour.
Keep on Casting Cooking is brought to you by Rouse's. Fresh food, fresh daily. All right, folks, we're back at the Keep on Casting kitchen, or should I say the outside kitchen. And today I want to show you how to cook a brisket. Now, a lot of people smoke these things, but I can promise you that I've ruined at least a half a dozen briskets smoking them. I'm just not good enough at it. So this one's pretty trimmed up. You do want to trim it down to where you get to about a 1/4 inch of fat, which is good, but this is kind of the end, so it's trimmed up nice. So it's ready to go right now. We're gonna go ahead and start putting our seasoning on. I start out with a little salt and pepper, or this is Slap Your Mama seasoning, and it gives it a little bit of a kick. I like Tony's, it's good too. And remember, you gotta put a decent amount of seasoning on there because it's a pretty big piece of meat. This is a barbecue rub, gives a little smoky flavor. Put some of that on there. You almost can't over season them. All right. I always like to put a little garlic powder on there also. We got that ready to go. Gives a little bit of flavor. And this is a nice way to cook a brisket. You can put it on, more or less forget about it. Come back, like I said, it makes really good sandwiches this way. And I like Allegro marinade, but I don't like to put a lot of it. It gives it a little salty flavor, so I just kind of douse it in this Allegro marinade. Get it on one side, you can turn it over. A little bit on the other side. Like I said, this is a little salty, so I don't like a lot of it. So we got that. Now we're going to chop a couple of onions. And I know for all you brisket cookers out here that this is probably not the right way that y'all like to cook it, but like I said, if you're short on time, this is a great way to cook them. And honestly, my family likes it better this way. We've wasted way too many briskets doing it the other way. Dice them up. Oh, and a couple of cloves of garlic too. Garlic's just to give it taste. All right, so now we got this brisket. The first thing we're gonna do is brown it. So we got the grill around 350, 400 degrees. I'm gonna spray a little non-stick on there. Try not to blow yourself up. So we're gonna put that on there and more or less just get it really brown. You can almost char that side with the fat on it. Gives it a good smoky flavor. Throw a few wood chips on there. This is what gives it the flavor. Let that cook for a little bit. Go ahead and prep some more. Got 2 onions done. 1 more garlic will be good to go. So you can see we're getting a nice color on there right now. See the fat layer over here. That's what we want to kind of singe that down. Get it nice and crispy. So we're gonna go ahead and flip it over. You can see that side's nice and crispy. That's the way we want it. Even if you burn a little bit more than that, it's still good. Get that other side nice and brown like that, and we're ready to go. So we'll see how it looks now. Yep, we got it nice and brown on that side, nice and brown on that side. We're gonna put it back in the pan, fat side down, just like that. So now, I'm gonna put all the onions back on it. Garlic, about 3 cloves of garlic. Just pile them on top. All right, a little more pepper on top, just like that. Take a regular Coke, plain Coke. Use about half of it, maybe a little bit more. Dump it on top. So we got the onions on top. We're gonna go ahead and seal this up really good with some foil. Get nice and tight. Take this, We're gonna put it on the grill. Put that right there. And you want your temperature around 225 to 250. You really don't want it to get over 250. If it gets over 250, it'll start to burn and stick to the bottom of the pan. So we're a little hot right now, but we got enough juice in there. We're gonna turn it down low. 225, 5 hours, we'll be ready. So the brisket's been cooking 5.5 hours. It ought to be done. We're gonna take it off the grill, make some game day sliders. Oh yeah, ready to go. Take that, watch your hands. This is in celebration of the Saints winning today. So this brisket just pulls apart. You can pull it apart, kind of keep it in that juice. You can see the onions are all caramelized on top. Ready to go, easy to make sandwiches with. So you just take that. Once again, it's kind of falling apart. Put that on there. Want some onions? Ready to go. And this is nice. When I make brisket like this, there's never any left over. So that's how I know it's good. It's good. All right, folks, y'all enjoy. You can find this recipe and more at keeponcastingtv.com.
Skin cancer is the most common cancer in the United States. In fact, more skin cancers are diagnosed each year than all other cancers combined. Most skin cancers are caused by too much exposure to the sun. The good news is that you can do a lot to protect yourself. Catch skin cancer early so that it can be treated effectively. Finding it early is the best way to make sure it can be treated with success. Call Grafton Dermatology for a consultation.
In Louisiana, we have some of the best fishing in the world. And in Toledo Bend, we have the best fishing in Louisiana. This 185,000-acre lake was voted the #1 bass lake in the nation for 2 years running. And with dozens of waterfront resorts and marinas, you can stretch out your stay as long as you like, or at least as long as your casting arm holds out. It's true, you can fish pretty much anywhere, but you'll catch fish in Louisiana. Plan your trip to Toledo Bend Lake Country today at louisianatravel.com.
Closed captioning provided by Humdinger Lures, the bass catchingest lures on the planet.
That'll do.
Shoot, that's a good fish. That's a good fish, Pawpaw.
Come on.
Nice fish.
Another treble hook down. They eat that treble hook with a live shrimp on it. They don't even know they got a hook right there. There it is.
So Captain Tommy, is it unusual to come out here and have to get these fish to start working a little bit before you start catching them?
Yes, it is. Trout are there, they're just frenzy feeders. So as soon as you get them rolled up going, each one's looking for what the other one's chasing. So you get them in a frenzy, you never want to let up. And just keep on, going at them and going at them and going at them. And eventually, they'll work up to a frenzy and you'll be catching double rigs. Like C-Mac just had one on his line now, and they just get going. So that's what you want to do, never let up. When you get them going, keep them biting.
Nice fish. Come up a puking, come up a puking. Boy, these fish are eating, doing some eating in here.
Got a little one. That'll keep. That's a boxer. Brad.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna size check that fish or what? Oh yeah.
I think that one rides there,
That
boy.
rides. That'd take a ride. Oh wait, let me go ahead and reel this one in. How about that? I got a head shaker. You know the difference between a head shaker and a skimmer? Head shakers got length, skimmers don't have. Head shakers got a little bit length to them. He ate my rattle shrimp. Hey Chris, how come all our fish have spots on them and yours don't?
You know, Captain, it's one of life's great mysteries.
Yours are just so small they're not old enough to have specks?
I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to catch snapper bait here, man.
Oh, I got you, I got
I got
you.
my eyes on the future.
Oh, okay. So you're...
And Brad keeps throwing my bait away.
So that's not white trout you catch, that's transformer trout.
That's it.
You transform them from a trout to a red snapper.
I'm making an investment by keeping a 9-inch white trout
Into the future.
so I can turn him into a 15-pound red snapper.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I think that's pretty good growth on investment, don't you?
That's a lot of good investment there.
I mean, that's pretty good ROI, they call it.
Yeah, a return of investment. And I'm fishing on credit. They're talking about investments and all that, and I'm fishing on credit. Fish don't take credit. Yep, that one looking right. Ate me alive. Ate me up.
Go ahead, Brad.
Another male fish. Grunt and grunt.
Yeah, but Brad, you see, that's what we're doing for you. We're not catching, so you can. All right, let's see what we got. Let's add to the catch here. There we go. Another 14, 15 in the hole. Yes, sir. Keep on casting.
But we had a great day out here in Terrebonne Parish. Thanks to Brad Miller from the Coastal Protection Restoration Authority, Capt Tommy Pellegren. Came out here and saw Louisiana's newest barrier island restoration project, and more good things to come from barrier island restoration here in the state of Louisiana in the coming years.
A good thing for the restoration because it keeps the fishery viable, keeps us catching speckled trout. Y'all come on down and catch a whole bunch of speckled trout with us. These barrier islands and make sure we can do it.
Until next time,
Keep on casting.
So Boudreaux and Marie, they were walking through town one day. They came across a wishing well. Boudreaux takes his penny out, throws it in the well, makes a wish. Marie takes her penny out, throws it in the well, falls over and drowns. Boudreaux says, "Oh no, this thing works."
Avec les filles, ouais, c'est juste pour mamie.